Here are 5 reasons not to get a tarantula. Hello everyone, welcome back to Spooderpods. I am David. In today's video we are discussing 5 reasons not to get a tarantula. You heard me right, not to get one. You know that I like tarantulas, you know that I keep lots of them, you know that I make videos about them, but I thought it'd be useful doing a video regarding why you should not get one, because if you're considering one, there are some things that you should think about before getting a tarantula, and they may be deal breakers for you. And if any of them are deal breakers, maybe you should think twice, consider another invert or different type of pet. But if none of them are, go ahead and enjoy it. And also don't forget, this is just my opinion, so there may be different ones out there. Now, the first reason you shouldn't get a tarantula is they are a big commitment. For me, that's great because it means they last ages, but for others that may be a bit intimidating. A tarantula can live a very long time. We're talking about years and years for some species, especially the larger ones. And I think that's awesome because you have really almost lifelong pet, but for some people that commitment may be too much, and especially if they get them as a sling and they're not prepared for how big a tarantula can get. Let's just take the curly hair for example, very cheap, starts off very small, they can get very big, especially the females, which means a lot of enclosure size and having that enclosure for a very long time. If you're prepared for that, awesome, but do think twice because it is a commitment having a tarantula. Another reason you may not want to get a tarantula is they aren't very active compared to other inverts or other pets. Most of the time your tarantula is going to sit around and not do very much, unless it's feeding time or maybe when they're burrowing. And that can make it quite boring for a lot of people. They just sit around and don't do very much, and that's not very enjoyable. Now, some species will be on display a lot, so you can admire them and look at them, that's great. But if you want a really active pet, I definitely think a tarantula is not the one for you. Number 3 on the list is pet dirt. Now, this is kind of a term a lot of people throw around. Most of the time when you get a tarantula, especially when they're little, you get very enthusiastic about keeping them, but you'll barely see them. They will be burrowed, they'll be underground, they'll be hiding, they'll be in their trapdoor, and you will not see that tarantula. And that can be quite sad for a lot of people. They're not prepared for it. They think, wow, I'm going to be seeing my tarantula lots. Maybe when they get older. A lot of the time, you're going to have a box of pet dirt, which you're going to keep moist sometimes and occasionally drop food into. Again, that can be quite boring and off-putting for a lot of people. Number 4 is tarantulas do have some risks when you're keeping them. Now, old world, venomous, that's not the best. But even new world tarantulas, and I love new world tarantulas because they are a lot easier to keep and generally a lot calmer. But even then, you have some potential risks you have to be prepared for. They will flick hairs at you occasionally, although so far so good with ours, and you have to know how to handle them. And if you do get the flicked hair, or urticating hair they call it, basically it's just an irritant, it's a defense mechanism, they flick it at you and it just deters predators. If you do get it in your eye or anything sensitive, that's going to cause you some major problems. So it is a risk when you're keeping even the most docile, relaxed ones, and it's something you have to be prepared for. There's also the smaller risk of biting, but honestly, if you handle them right, you shouldn't really have any problems with it. When you're going to old world, you really do have to think about what you're getting very carefully because there are some big dangers there. Number 5, and my final reason, is live food. You have to feed your tarantula live food. I've had this question a couple of times, can I provide them dry stuff or pre-killed stuff? And yes, you can. If you have it live yourself and you kill it and provide it, that's fine, but generally live food is better for them, and you're going to have to keep live food as well. It's basically something you have to prepare for when you're keeping any sort of carnivorous invert. You're going to have to look after that live food, and it's going to be annoying at times. So do keep that in mind as well when you get your tarantula. So those are my top 5 reasons you shouldn't get a tarantula. There's plenty more reasons I'm sure out there. If you have any reasons you'd like to add to the list, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. But in the meantime, take care and see you later.